down Deontay Wilder. Like, he attacked Deontay Wilder aggressively and tactically. Deontay Wilder looked clueless. There was no point in time in that fight that Deontay Wilder looked like he was going to be able to throw one of his strongest punches, which is his right hook. There was no point in that fight. They covered him on every corner. And so it wasn't the fact that he lost, it was the way he looked like an amateur during the fight that makes it worse. So if you saw the fight, you just be like, is this the bronze bomber we have been? What are we? So who is this guy? It was horrible, almost as if he didn't prepare for that fight. So and he's saying yes, that it's not the end of him, but it was such a horrible display. It does not bode well for his PR team, the marketing team that is trying to promote any of his further fights or anything else. And it has opened room for everybody to believe that, you know what, you can be absolutely beaten. Because I know it was a horrible display. It was a horrible display. But the good news on the 9th is Anthony Joshua is back. Look, I'm still hesitant. You know, during the fight, I was just like, you could have finished this guy off now. Why are we sitting in the 5th round before the KO? Because he beat the guy so well that the guy did not come out for 5th round. But I expected him to knock the guy out a little earlier because of the way the fight looked after the first 2 rounds. I was like, Anthony Joshua, stop making a meal of this. Just end it. And that's the comeback I want to see from AJ. I want to see him actually knock somebody on the canvas, first or second round. That's the guy. I'm listening to you.
Tega, you almost called it the way it turned out last week when you were giving us a preview of this fight, where you said Joshua just wanted to do the job, not talk too much.
It's what it should be. And I still feel there's a little, I mean, he did the job, but I still feel there's a little bit of handbrakes on. Almost like he's fighting with his handbrakes on. He was able to do the job here, but he needs to make a huge statement. He needs to go back, but he's back. That's the good news. The fact is, he came out all business, none of that drama that he does in the build-up to it, and then he got in the ring and he won this fight by a knockout. But I need to see somebody on the canvas in the first or second round. That's when I know he's really, really back. But it was a great fight for him. Congratulations to Anthony Joshua. But for Deontay Wilder, that's all we say.
Wow. Okay. Let's move on to the Serie A. Inter Milan maintained their 4-point lead at the top of the Serie A with Saturday's 2-0 win over Lecce as Napoli crashed a 2-0 defeat at Roma, which the troubled champions finished with 9 men.
Oh, yes. So that was a huge one. Inter Milan winning at Lecce is like water is wet. I mean, you can't talk too much.
It's a given now. It's water dry.
Water is wet. So you expected that. The question was, how would they perform with their injuries? And they've shown somehow that they have the fortitude to deliver the results despite the performance not being too brilliant due to all the injuries that they've been picking up. But the Roma-Napoli match, that was the match of the weekend. And with the way Roma has struggled, giving mixed results. One day you see the brilliance of Romelu Lukaku and Jose Mourinho. The next day you see a horrible result, and you're just like, what can Roma do to give some consistency? But they also, if they thought their case was bad, they stepped up against a Napoli side who are supposed to be title defenders, but are posting some of the most horrible results. Now, Victor Osimhen extended his contract at Napoli. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to stay there. That just means he has gotten a better bargaining power should some other club decide that they want to buy him. So he extended his contract. I remember over the weekend, he scored one of the most brilliant goals and had one of the most brilliant assists. So this was set up to be, blockbuster, only for us to get to the game, and it was more of a wrestling bout. And you should have expected, this is the Italian Serie A. Red cards are common. Roma finished their last match with 9 men, so it's expected that you see some red cards flying in the Italian Serie A. But Victor Osimhen picked up one of those red cards, and it was for 2 yellows. Now, for his second yellow, it was a very unwise challenge, if you ask me. But I've seen referees who would not give the second yellow card for that kind of challenge. They'll be like, you're on your last leg. They'll give you a warning. But this referee he didn't have time for that. He wanted to go home and start roasting his Christmas turkey. So he was just like Victor Elisha. But it didn't make it any easier for them on the day. So they were already 1 goal down, and then they picked up the second red, which made them to play with 9 men, which meant that there was no way they were getting all 3 points. And then Romelu Lukaku wrapped up the scoring with another goal. So good results for Roma, pushes them higher up to the table. But for Napoli and Matsari, it's looking like not a very good Christmas or not a very good weekend.
All right, let us know what your thoughts are. The WhatsApp number is 0809 444 981. We hope you're having a beautiful Christmas so far. It's still early and things will definitely get even better. All right, do stay with us. The locker room continues shortly. It's murder. Holla, holla. Everybody get ready to give dollars.
Yes. Do you have any messages?
This is quarterly drama like no other. Watch out on your show backs. Subscribe for 1,200 naira monthly. Sign up now.
Angle the mistletoe. Oh, well, it's on YouTube, so it will be awesome. So that's what you do when you go off, when the mics are off. So they find out that's what you do. Yeah.
I was happy singing Westlife.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
People should have been singing Christmas songs. You sing, and then
why are you not
Omaso add.
What's going on?
That's
why?
weird.
What's going on?
Positioning? Miriam!
Come on. Okay. Now there's a delay.
Oh, yeah, there is. Oh, wow.
Okay. Now we get it.
I was like, what have they done to the camera? Oh, wow. Where the skies are blue to see you once again, my love.
I hope those are people we don't have backlog of complaints about tickets showing up and
oh no, everything is good. I haven't seen any.
Oh, but I mean at least for the weekend.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
So that we're not going to like guys will not come and start dragging on there this morning.
No, all good.
They call Lagos, so they say let's wait for them.
I'm like,
yes, we showed up. I want to be sure.
Oh my days. Oh wow.
Okay.
What's happening in your house?
Works.
I go home nights to go and cook. Like this weekend was just a lot of prepping so that today the work
all of for today, Abby.
Yeah, exactly. Dang, I can't wait.
Hey, Zibby, bring some right now.
The major work is done. I think prepping is what takes all the time and energy. Like I was on my feet for hours, my neck, my back.
If you want to finish on time, it means you have to prep a lot so that by like it's combination now. Just begin to do cut and nail.
Exactly. That's the easy part. Dang. Future forward banking. Just like music. Okay, please bring us in.
It's the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1 FM. It's Christmas Day, and it is a special edition with Tega. Tega, let's go straight to England as we find the elephant and see if we can get it down or leave it there. Arsenal are the better of a breathless 1-1 draw at Liverpool on Saturday to lay down their Premier League title credentials and climb back to the top of the table.
I'm not sure we can say they had the better of since it was a draw.
But they were away and then they left with at least with a point at least.
I will just say that look, I thought that game was winnable by Arsenal. I did think that game was winnable by Arsenal, but there is still something about this Arsenal team that needs to be a little They need to get it there to that place of that invincible team that went on to win the league without a loss that season. But there's something still missing. Some clinical finishing, some lethal striking. There's something up front that's just a little tweak more before they can become that team that I would, stake my bet on. But I mean, they put up a good performance against Liverpool. Went ahead, scored the first goal, and then Mo Salah responded, and it was, a tussle from both sides from then on out. But there was a major incident in the Arsenal match that I really think I need to address. And for once again, not for once, for the second time this season, I will not blame the APL referee, and that was the Odegaard handball in the Arsenal 18-yard box. Now, I've heard a lot of people give their takes on this, and I come back and I will side with the referee. It's simple. Odegaard had a slip just right before the ball hits his hand. So if he didn't have that slip, his hand, of course, was in an unnatural position, that would have been a penalty. But because he had that slip, once you sleep and you're falling, won't your arms, the first thing that will go is your arms will be flailing because your arms are trying to break your fall. And so because he had that slip, the referees watched the video again and they didn't give a penalty. So for the second time this season, I'm standing with the EPL referee. You can argue about the intention or no intention, or whether it was a handball, whether it was not a handball. The truth of the matter is, because that slip happened, it would have been harsh to give the penalty. And so I side with VAR and I side with the referee this time. That shouldn't have been a penalty because of the slip. And yeah, I know a lot of people will be saying, oh, so what is really handball these days? That was not a penalty based on what happened. And so all is fair. Arsenal has not yet gotten away with one. I know your analysis, but Arsenal has not yet gotten away with one. So let's just end that there. It wasn't. I wouldn't give it a penalty, even if it was a handball. Do you understand? Because of the slip. But ultimately, the result came out and favored. I would say it favored both teams, because what it means is that Liverpool are still just 1 point behind Arsenal, and any slip up at the top, and Liverpool could take over. But it was a fantastic battle between two of the most informed teams in the Premier League right now. And I did think that both Arsenal and Liverpool could have done something to come away with all 3 points, especially for Liverpool. There was this time that there was only Declan Rice and there were 4 Liverpool players bearing down on the goal. How the ball didn't end up in the back of the net is still beyond me.
There is a meme circulating now about that, how one person became so invisible in the defense lineup.
It was. I don't know how the ball did end up in the back of the net, because there was no scenario I envisioned that it was not 2-1. But at the end of the day, TA decided to throw the ball to the bar, and that was it. But yes, it was a brilliant display of football. But I would say good result for both teams.
But before you leave this conversation, in your preparation for this game last weekend, you talked about how the Jurgen Klopp would always be a major character on the sideline. So we heard that, of course, a player crashed into him, lost, probably, what was the situation about that player with a collarbone breaking?
Oh, he's out. He's out for a while. Tsimikas, the player didn't. I won't say the player crashed into him. I would say he had a challenge with Bukayo Saka, and he ended up crashing into his manager. But his manager fell on top of him.
Oh, so you saw it coming.
And Jurgen Klopp is not a small man. If he falls on top of you, the fight is over. Referee will count 1, 2, 3, wrestling over. So Tsimikas is out with an injury. But yeah, I still think they can do without him. They have a good enough replacement. Yeah.
All right. Erik ten Hag is begging. He's basically gone down on his knees like Boyz II Men. He's pleading with his Manchester United flops to stick together and keep calm after the dismal season hit a new low in Saturday's 2-0 defeat against West Ham.
And for the first time, I thought that Manchester United would be able to hold on to something. But they considered 2 goals in 6 minutes against West Ham match over. So they were doing so well until 6 minutes into those 6 minutes in the second half, and it was game over. Really tough loss, and they're 8th on the table. everybody's calling for their head, for Erik ten Hag's head, talking about how Jose Mourinho was fifth when he was fired, how Van Gaal was fifth when he was fired, how Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was seventh when he was fired, and now Ten Hag is eighth and he still has his job. It's just a lot to go on, but the results are not. It's not the Manchester United results that's the problem. It's the fact that there is no hope in sight for a change of results that seem to be Manchester United's problem. Over the weekend, they also announced that Sir Radcliffe had bought 25% of the club, and they're hoping that that change at the top will be able to bring about some change on the field. But, Radcliffe is not going to come on the pitch and score the goals. And that's Manchester United's biggest problem. Their strikers are not scoring enough goals.
All right, that takes us to Wolves inflicted a fourth defeat in 6 matches on Chelsea on Sunday, beating the London side 2-1 in the first Christmas Eve Premier League match since 1995.
All right, so like Chelsea.
You just hear the excitement in Tega's voice, like she's happy
like
to
Chelsea,
say this.
Like Chelsea, like Manchester United. The struggle is real. Chelsea, their problem is a little different because they've done a lot of buying. When you spend that amount of money, you have to deliver on the goods. It's like, Zibby was talking about preparation of air for her Christmas cooking that she's about to give me, because I must taste of that rice and chicken. It's like when you have all the ingredients right, but the fried rice is still not coming out right. That's exactly what it is with Chelsea. They spent so much money, got a lot of fresh blood, got a lot of young players. Unfortunately, still they're not getting the results. And a lot of people will pick on Jackson, but he's not the only person. Raheem Sterling also had a great chance, and Raheem Sterling has been one of the most brilliant Chelsea players, which says a lot about the Chelsea performances. But he missed a blatant one-on-one chance. Even I would have scored that goal. I would have chipped the goalkeeper and put the ball in the back of the net. But even he missed that chance. So you look at the Chelsea side, and the struggle still continues. The good news for Chelsea is that Nkunku is back. Now, Pochettino has said that Nkunku may not be able to start. Is not yet ready to start matches, but when Nkunku came on against Wolves yesterday, he was brilliant. They cleared one of the shots off the line that could have been a goal, and then he scored a goal that brought Chelsea back into it with a few minutes left on the clock. So I think if Nkunku starts, he's going to be brilliant for Chelsea, and maybe that will help them turn around the results. But so far, with all the losses that are coming in, it's not a good time at the Blues.
Wow. All right. Manchester City won the Club World Cup for the first time to end 2023 with 5 trophies. And this is after a 4-0 win over Fluminense in Jeddah on Friday.
Right. So Manchester City winning everything on the block. So remember they did the treble last season, then they won the Super Cup, and now they've won the Club World Cup. And they're hoping that this will translate into them winning in the Premier League, because they've not been having a good time in the Premier League. Like I said, if you're a defending champion in any of the top 5 leagues, it's a struggle. Napoli is struggling in Italy, Barcelona is struggling in Spain, Manchester City is struggling in England. So it's a tough one. Bayern is struggling in Germany. It's a tough one. It's almost as if there is an unagreed statement that if they are defending, they should not be allowed to come back. But they'll be happy with this win. It was a complete obliteration. It's exactly what I expected. I expected that, Fluminense will come out and try to play for some brilliant football, but as usual, the European team will win the match. And that's exactly how it happened. 4-0. And they started the scoring from as early as the 2nd minute in the game, so that Fluminense knew that they were going to be beaten on the day. They started early to beat them, and they beat them till late at night. So it was total dominance. But so congratulations to them. They've won the title. But the question is, will they be able to translate that to the Premier League, and will they finally be able to get some back-to-back wins that will get them back to the top of the table? That's important.
And that takes us to our final story in the locker room as Rebecca Welsh made history on Saturday when she became the first woman to referee a Premier League fixture. How did she perform?
Brilliant one. And of all the officiating problems we had over the weekend, from the red card to Willy Bolly that shouldn't have been a red card, to the penalty that should or shouldn't have been against Arsenal, all the drama that happened over the weekend, Rebecca Welch's match was brilliant. There were no complaints, no excuses, no this, no that. She had a brilliant performance on her first day. So congratulations to everybody. Stephanie Frappart is really leading the way, and Rebecca Welch had a fantastic weekend. Hopefully we'll see her officiating a few more matches, and hopefully this time without drama. Because I think we've come to the conclusion that EPL officiating is a little different. So it's a little different. There's always going to be something to talk about. But she had a brilliant day out. And on the day she officiated, only one to take them off the bottom of the table. So I'm sure they'll be hoping for her to officiate their next match so that they can win again.
So on this day, we've got company in the locker room, even as people celebrate. So we've got Emeka Onelum with a message for us here. With greetings, but then it goes, here's some interesting stats. Manchester United has lost 13 games before Christmas. The last time that happened was in 1931. Even colored TVs hadn't been invented yet. Not so Christmassy for United. As for Liverpool, there are allegations they overwatered their pitch to give them extra advantage. Players were sleeping on the pitch. I guess it's backfired as Tsimikas fell with a broken collarbone after colliding with Saka. That's how Emeka Onelum
I like
puts
the way he said colliding, as if Saka did not use his body to hit him. I like the way he said colliding.
And then Mohammed is here with a message, Tega, nothing like because of sleep, you won't give a handball. Where is that in the rules of FIFA officiating? Liverpool was cheated. Stop shifting the goalpost, Joe. Anyway, as I said, Posh and Benteng are fraudsters. They should get sacked so they can remove the agony the fans are suffering. That's how Mohammed sums it up. And then on our YouTube stream, we've got Ogundikbe Oluwasegun just saying Merry Christmas to everyone in the locker room. And that's all we can see from here, Tega.
All right, thank you so much. And Zibby, we are waiting for the chicken. Please let the seasoning enter the middle of the chicken. You understand?
I did that yesterday.
All right, on that note, Merry Christmas, everybody, and thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sending your messages. So we'll meet again on Wednesday. It's bye from me.
Do stay with us. There's a lot more to come on the Smooth